Today we've got a camera related video. We're talking about the Sigma 35 1.2 bokeh monster. So thank you for watching. I know lately I've been doing a lot of music, and I mean, as you can tell, music is one of my passions. So during the quarantine, I just dedicated my time to doing that during the holidays. But I'm happy to have some more video and camera related content for you coming up over the next couple of months. So if you've seen my videos in the past, you know that I reviewed the 35mm 1.2 manual lens from SLR Magic, and I still have that lens, and I still like to use it a few times, depending on what I'm doing. It's more like for creative purposes. But when I made that video, I got this one keeping in mind that I was trying to have the Sigma 35 1.2, which has autofocus, but with, of course, the compromise of not having autofocus. And I got really good at it. I was doing manual focus, getting beautiful shots with this lens. I still highly recommend it if you want a cheap, not in terms of quality and build and price, if you want a budget-friendly 35 1.2 cinema lens, this one is one that you need to try. But that's not what this video is about. We're talking about the autofocus version, and that is the big boy, the 35 1.2. Now, the first thing you need to ask yourself, obviously this lens, I mean the 1.2 alone entices people to come and check it out and purchase it. But the first thing is, why would you even consider a 35mm in the first place? And I think that's where I want to start my points. As a photographer, there's tons of focal lengths, tons of lens options out there, and you really have to narrow down on your search. What's your style? What are you looking for? What's your creative approach to a photo? And so if you're going to invest in your gear, especially on a large aperture lens, you want to make sure it's the one for you. And so I would say, why a 35? A 35 is very photojournalistic. It's very versatile. You can use it for portraits, landscape shots, everyday casual shooting. The fact that it's wide enough to capture your environment makes it great for environmental portraits. It's not too zoomed in like a 50 where you won't miss out on space if you're restricted. It's a very good compromise between getting an ultra wide and a normal, which is around 50. So why the investment? I say 35 is a very good lens. It's very well rounded, and at a 1.2, the opportunities there are very interesting, as I will talk about. So next, this is a big point in this lens, and it's very clear, the f-stop. It's a 1.2. Who doesn't want a 1.2? Who doesn't want a 1.0 or 0.95? It's very attractive to have a very large aperture, because that means you have more subject separation, nice bokeh, low light shooting, on and on. There's just so many good things about having 1.2 in this lens. But I want to quickly mention, in the Sony world, we have the 35 1.8 from Sony, which is a great lens. I've had it and sold it. We have the Sigma 1.4, which has been out for a while. We have the Sony Zeiss 1.4, which is a great lens, and I used to own as well. And just recently, we got the G Master 35 1.4, which is a great lens. Obviously, I haven't tried it because it just came out, and some other people have. You can watch others' video reviews on that. But just from the images, you can tell it's a lot more compact. It's like an in-between 1.8 and the 1.2 size on this one. So when it comes to f-stop comparison, for the most part, I'm going to say that if you're starting off and you're not really wanting to invest a lot of money, the f-stop is negligible. But the more you put time into it, the more you invest in it, you come to the point where you value a certain f-stop, depending on the lens qualities as well. It's pretty subjective. I would say that out of all the 35s I've had, which I think I've had all the Sony options at this point, including the Rokinon autofocus, I liked many of them, but the 1.2 just stands out to me because it gives more subject separation, and I feel like it has a signature look to it, as we'll talk about later. Along with your f-stop goes your price. The larger your f-stop, the more you're probably going to pay. And so this is not an exception, but you know, Sigma is very well known for creating budget options with incredible image quality. And so this is not an exception either. But to put into comparison, the new G Master is only around $100 less than this 1.2. The trade-off is going to be in the build. So the next category I want to talk about is the build quality. Sigma used to suck. If you've used their Canon and Nikon lenses from maybe 10, 15 years ago, maybe a little longer, they were not very good. They were not reliable in terms of build quality, and sometimes autofocus as well. This thing is solid. I can tell you, it's solid metal. It is weather sealed. It has tactile controls for the aperture, very large manual focus ring, lots of buttons, which we like, very modern, like the special Sony lenses that came out last, with the focus hold, with the controls, the distance, to click, declick. Sorry, it doesn't have the distance skill on this one. I mean distance control for focus. It has everything you want in terms of build quality. Yes, it's a bit heavier, but having used larger lenses like telephoto, or including a G Master and 85 1.4, you get used to it. It's not too bad. It's not too long. If you need the best, if you need the 1.2, the weight, you'll forget about it, because on a Sony body with a decent grip, it's negligible. Plus, once you see the images you get with the quality, you won't really care about the weight. This does not compare to having a 70-200 G Master. So next, I want to talk about bokeh and image quality. So this lens, to me, is special and stands out above the other 35s I've used, which is around 5 or 6 lenses, because I've been, photographers are always switching out lenses, buying new ones, and things keep coming out that are new. This one is unique. It's the first autofocus 1.2 for this focal length. And it doesn't disappoint. In the bokeh, it's super clean with 11 aperture blades, just like the G Master lenses. You're gonna get nice, clean bokeh. It looks really good. It makes any picture look epic. You just gotta frame it right with your technique. That way you're not getting things out of focus that shouldn't be out of focus. You gotta really work on that. And remember, you don't always have to stay at 1.2. But another thing I wanna say about the bokeh is that it has a nice look to it, or character, as you would say. When I posted a couple of images online, I had a friend reach out and he was like, "What lens is that? That looks like a vintage lens." And I said, "It's not. It's actually very new." And that's just to show you that Sigma really put work into this lens. It has a very classic look, which I really like. And through the images that I'll be showing you throughout this video, you can see the bokeh and the quality. In terms of image quality, this lens is sharp. Where you focus, that's the sharp part, and it looks amazing. You can crop in and it's still gonna look great. You're not getting any of these weird, uneven, sharpened images. It's just a great lens. So far, I haven't had any complaints about the sharpness. It resolves well, colors look great, bokeh looks great. I just have nothing really negative to say about this lens, except for weight. Weight might be the only thing deterring some people from buying this lens, but to be honest, I mean, you want a 1.2, that's what you have to deal with. That's what it comes with. It's physics. It's the way the lens works with the glass and all the components. It's a well-made lens, and I highly recommend it. So I've been posting a couple samples throughout this video, but I'll put a couple more. I've done all kinds of pictures and photo shoots with this lens already. I've had it over 3 months. So I've done portraits, I've done product shots, which I really liked actually over the holidays, and just everyday shots, just trying to see what I get out of the lens. And so far I'm very convinced, and it's a keeper for me. After using so many 35mm, this is a keeper. And I know new things always come out, but this one It's very unique. It's unique enough, and the price I think is right to where you can justify getting a 1.2 in your collection. So that's all on this video. This is kind of like the first impressions because I've had it for like 3 months. I'll be sure to make another one soon and showing you the different applications of this lens. Like I said, I've done product shots with it, portraits. It's very versatile, and over time, I mean, I'll get to know it a little better, but as of now, I'm very impressed with it and I recommend you try it out.